Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are so glad you're here. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We took a week off to prepare for the holiday. I actually hosted for my entire family. My grandpa's 96. He's still a barber in our small town. He also still has a big farm. He has a half a section that he still does his own fencing and all of that with. So I host for all my extended family. So
The house was packed.
Yes. And so we had to take a break and not have an episode last week, but here we are, and we are so glad you're here.
Yes, we also want like a huge thank you. So we didn't record after our sale. And so we just want to thank everyone that joined in to watch, to bid, and those that are taking calves home. Thank you. We couldn't keep doing this without having that support. So we're really appreciative of it.
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. And so many people shared that out the day that we were having the sale. So many people shared that out, and we are so blessed to have so many cattle friends out there. Did that for us because I really think that helped the reach. So people knew that we were having it. Some people don't know who we are. I hope the whole cattle world will do that in the future because I really think that it helps everybody.
Right. Supporting everyone because there's room for everyone. It was great to have people supporting us, and we plan to do the same for others.
Yeah. We kind of want to talk on this episode, preparing for winter.
Yeah, it came fast. Like now we're to feeding hay around the clock, making sure things are bedded down for calving still, right? You just got your new barn, which is awesome. I'm so glad you showed me it because I'm like, Jason, I know what we need to get.
Yes. So I ended up with my husband. He actually owns a welding shop, but he is so busy. Goes into Tyson's and redoes all their machinery and this and that. So it's kind of like a plumber. If a plumber's wife has a broken toilet, how long does it take to get fixed? It was like me with this barn that's been trying to go up for, what has it been, 2 years now? So yeah. We just got the new barn done, but it's full of our registered show cattle because the National Denver Stock Show is coming up here in January. And I'm like, where am I supposed to put these moms that are due? Because I still have, I think, 2 left to calve, which we're hoping calves soon. But I say 2 left. Those are 2 of the fall that are running late. And then we start in pretty heavy. I guess not as heavy as in January and February, and then March, April, May, June, July.
So you need a nice warm place.
So I need a nice warm place. So we actually ordered in a building or a barn, and it's so awesome. It came today in 2 pieces. Santa showed up. So I have a hay fairy, and then I have Santa that just shows up and brings me a barn, and it is so awesome. It's already set up, has all the pens in it, has a head gate already. We had the choice of putting a tack room in it or another pen. We chose to do the tack room because this way, they're actually smaller pens in this one. I think the normal average 10 by 10, these are 8 by 8. And so this is going to help us so much with halter training too, and being able to grab it a little quicker when they're on the halter. That type of thing. I'm so excited. It's like awesome.
It looks great. I love how it like comes basically ready. Like that is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I have the 2 that are due anytime. And one of them she's a little heifer. So the other one, she's a cow, and Delilah.
Your donkeys are probably going to love it too, right?
My donkeys will love it for sure.
I know my donkeys fill up my barn pretty quick.
Yeah. In fact, I think I do have one that's probably going to be due in January, February, and you definitely don't want to get. You know more about the donkeys than I do. I have donkeys, but Taylor knows way more about the donkey side of it than I do.
It is hard. I mean, they need warm. They're like the opposite, right? When it comes to like Highland cows do really good in the winter, and donkeys do really good in the summer. And so donkeys get the barn in the winter.
Yes.
That's how it goes at my place.
I'm not sure how many pens are in it. I think there's 7.
Arnold will even have his own place.
Arnold may end up in there. He got into show feed again. Whitney sent me a video, and I'm like, oh, Arnold's my pig, and Arnold is always up to no good. Well,
Arnold is a pain in the butt.
He's a pain in my husband's butt.
Who gave you a pig like that?
bet my husband would say, thank you, Taylor, or not, take him back. We had an experience just the other day. Speaking of calving and getting into the calving barns and all that, we had a situation the other day that I feel like is a really good learning experience. We were talking about going to the NFR. We don't have anybody to watch the cows, and right now we have a couple, and I think you do too, still left to calve from fall calvers.
Yeah, the stragglers.
And I'm going to share this experience with everybody because I just had it a couple of weeks ago. The temperature had changed and it wasn't that cold outside. And we had 2 heifers that calved and the one did not get up. Well, it was standing and she licked it off just fine. It acted like it wanted to suck. We left it alone, to see what it was going to do and let nature take its course with it, or instinct take its course, I guess is what you would say. And it ended up being only like 2 hours that she hadn't sucked. And we decided to intervene at that time because she was laying and not standing back up. And this is where this learning experience comes in. We thought, temperature's good. And there's a lot of people out there that just don't know. Had we not been experienced and know that we need to really check on this calf because it already had gotten too cold. So we had to bring the calf in and get her warmed up so she could actually be taken back out to mom. So we brought her in, got her warmed up. I did give her some of the colostrum that I have on hand, which I use, KXP colostrum. And we also, my brother-in-law has a dairy. And so we can get colostrum from the dairy cows. There's mixed feelings with doing that, but we can if we need to.
Great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes they didn't have any. It had to be thawed out. And they carry a great line. But what we found out, so we fed her some colostrum. I mean, she drank a pint after she got warmed up right away, which is a perfect amount for the size of calf. She was our tiny one. She is the 18.5 incher and she weighed 31.8 pounds. So a pint was pretty darn good. So we sent her back out with mom. We honestly thought by mom's bag that there was no signs that she was sucking. And we brought her in, tried to get her to suck. She wouldn't suck. And we're like stressing out about this calf because she sucks so great and had, a pint. So we had taken, we'd put mom in the chute and we kept trying that way. And the calf acted like she didn't want to suck. I'm like, oh my gosh, she sucked so good last night. She should be sucking good right now, right? On mom. Well, sometimes, the bottle's different than the tit. So, or teat, whatever you want to say. So here we are. We're bringing this calf in, trying to get it to suck like multiple times. She didn't act like she was hungry. She wouldn't take a bottle anymore, but her belly felt full. Well, all this time, not from the very beginning. I mean, we had to bring her in, get her warmed up. And that is so super important. They get cold fast. And in that temperature, I think it was 34 degrees. We did not think, most people, they would say, oh, it'll be fine as long as she sucks and not think to check it as fast as we did. We could have lost her if we didn't check her as fast. If we would have been newbies and didn't understand, it might have been too late by the time we found her as cold as she got. So she had been sucking on mom just fine. She was just full and she wasn't hungry. She's like, I ain't eating. I'm not hungry. Don't make me. So her belly was full. She's been just fine ever since.
They're little stinkers. I've had them do that a couple times where we've put mom in the chute and tried to get calf to nurse, and they're like, they want nothing to do with it. And they're like, well, I'll give you a little bit longer to see. And sure enough, they're just nursing and we're not catching it. It's annoying, but it's a good thing.
It is because, you shouldn't be out there just watching him because that can interrupt him too. Especially at night if you got flashlights or lights, or for us it's headlights because we have side by side. You shouldn't be out there just constantly watching them. I mean, watch them, yes, but it can also interfere.
Especially new moms, so you can stress them out.
Yes, and new moms because this was a heifer. So that made us more uncertain.
But baby's doing good, right?
The baby's doing great. thank goodness. She's so tiny. She's out there with all the rest of them, and she just looks like this itty thing out there. Well, she is itty bitty.
My little bitty ones are, I'm too scared to let them out to the pasture. They got like their own pen and loaf and shed and everything that's bedded down because they're so little. And we have lately had so many coyotes around us, like coming in on the pasture and everything, that I'm too chicken. Even though I know moms are like great, like they're great moms, I really think they would be fine. I'm just like, well, I have the space for it. Why not?
Right? Speaking of space, that's why my brain is so fried today already. My husband we put up a new barn. Well, it took him, he was on husband time. You know, he owns a welding shop. He's going to love this. He owns a welding shop. So it's kind of like getting a plumber. If you have a husband, or if you have a plumber for a husband and you need a toilet fixed, how fast does it get done? Well, my husband actually, he's like, you don't pay very well. And I'm like, but we need a barn up. This is the second winter that we have calving sheds. He builds calving sheds. So we have calving sheds, but
really nice ones. Yeah.
Yes. But we really needed a barn bad. Well, now that we have entered like the registered show quality world, now, and he is on the show circuit, I always say, I still swear he's living in a midlife crisis. But like, he's having a midlife crisis because all of a sudden he wants to like relive his show years, and which is fine.
So now he needs a barn.
So now I need another barn because he's taken it over with nothing but show cattle. So now I had no space. So I ended up having to buy a new barn. It came today in 2 pieces, insulated already. Everything's set up. It has a head gate, and it's like, I don't know.
It looks so nice.
Yeah, I FaceTime
it's so nice
Taylor.
How it came, and like it's like done in a sense, right? Like,
yes,
you're FaceTiming me, and you're like, look what came today, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. It like comes ready to go.
Santa showed up today.
All you have to do now is throw some bedding down, and you're golden.
Yes. And I needed that so much because I think we talked about this too, that you've got to get your barn set up. But I needed this extra barn. So it was desperately needed because honestly, the registered cattle have taken over the barn.
Have all winter long though, won't you? You have calves coming in January, right?
Yes. We will actually be calving January through July. And I didn't want any Julys, but you know, things happen.
I would not want any January babies. Those farmers that are out there doing that, like February babies and January, the ones that start in January.
Yeah.
I would want to bring every single baby in because I'd be like, oh no, they're too
honestly, January for us is a better time anymore than March is. Like,
really?
Yeah, actually, yes. And the worst, we had one last year and she was a registered. So we bought a surrogate cow from an auction so the baby was obviously, it was going to be a registered heifer calf because that's what
Yes, you bought a recip that's carrying your registered embryo baby.
So we bought a recip that is actually carrying a registered embryo baby, like watching this cow, and she calved. Within 15 minutes, we now have what I call the earless Highland because she froze her ears. Like the whole tips are not there. And that was like the end of February, I think, last year. But I am excited because now I will have a place to run those mamas into to calve. And I plan on putting up cameras because we desperately need the cameras.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's like on my list of I need out there is cameras since I don't live right there at the place anymore.
That would be a major upgrade for you because you just got water, for crying out loud.
I know. The fire, long story short, ranch house burnt down in last February, and our well pump and everything was in the basement. Ruined it. I didn't have water. I was hauling water out until a couple months ago. It was long. But back to your barn thing. So I had like a small warm room, and thank goodness my one calf, my embryo calf that I had waiting, the whole time for this calf to get here.
Yes.
And it came, and I put the whole cow and calf into the warm room because I was like, no, I can't risk it. It still feels kind of cold in the barn. And so that cow was living luxuriously. She had a heater, calf was good. She had everything she needed right there in her own little apartment like thing. Having that is nice for winter babies for sure.
So we had a situation a couple weeks ago that I feel like is a really good learning experience, especially for new people. And that is, we had 2 heifers that calved at this basically the same time. They both got up. They were both attempting to try to suck. Mom was cleaning them off. And sometimes they're trying to suck, and mom's like, you're not sucking until I get you clean. And the temperature outside was 34 degrees. So it wasn't too bad for Nebraska. We have had really mild weather this year. So, I mean, this time of year, that could be a lot worse. But the one calf got to sucking fairly quickly, and the other one was not. We didn't want to hang around too much because we did not want that mom to get, sometimes they get to think or seeing you and worrying about what you're doing and turning for the calf and getting her all worked up. So the one calf was nursing well. The other one was still trying. And, you know, with a new mom, especially a heifer, hanging around there can actually cause them to, you know, turn on the calves, and they just get all worked.
Stressed.
There you go. That's the word that
Stressed,
I could not
yeah.
think of. I'm like,
what? There's so much new on a heifer, right? What
yes.
is this thing? It just came out of me. My body's telling me to lick it. I don't know.
Right? She did a great job with licking it and cleaning it off. But the calf was actually, after about 2 hours, we decided to intervene and go check on the calf and see how it was doing. And Sean went to go to try to stand it up. Of course, she had it in one of the worst places possible, because we have a creek in our backyard and we had a steep ledge there, and then it goes flat for a little bit. And she was, of course, had to have the calf down there. So he went down there to check on the calf. The calf was not moving, which, you know, it hadn't been that long since we'd been out there, and we were checking her fairly frequently. So he was worried that mom accidentally stepped on the calf. Well, that was not the case. What ended up being the case was she already had gotten too cold. So the heifer was already too cold. So we had to loaded her up and brought her inside and got her warmed up. And we did give her a pint of colostrum, and she did so well with that. She drank that right up. So we took her back out to mom. And when we took her back out to mom, okay, she's fine. Well, the next day we're like, I don't think she's sucked yet. And there's 3 of us that have been around cattle long enough that we're like, she's not sucked yet. And so we bring mom into the chute, we bring the calf, we grab the calf, and we try to put the calf on mom. The calf is not having it. We're like, you just sucked from the bottle so good. You have a strong sucker. What is going on here? Strong sucking reflex, because you put your finger in the mouth, and if the calf is sucking on it pretty good, it's got a nice reflex to it. And we even tried what's that called? Your calf starter.
Start strong.
Start Strong. That's it. We tried Start Strong. Here we are, trying to get this calf to suck. And we're thinking, this is crazy. I guess we're going to give it more colostrum. We have an advantage. My brother-in-law owns a dairy, and that my husband grew up on, and around the corner, and they usually have colostrum around. If not, we use, I'm going to butcher this, I should know. I always mess up what the letters are, but is it KXP? If I'm wrong on KXP, I will put it on our Facebook page, but we use that colostrum. It is the best colostrum that we have found out there, and love it. But anyway, back to the calf. We try to bottle feed this calf. It's not having it. It's not bawling. It's not acting like it's hungry. Its belly kind of feels full. We are bringing this calf in for at least not quite 48 hours. Till we finally seen she was sucking on mom the whole time. Or like she was actually nursing this whole dang time. You don't want to automatically assume that, right? And I'm so glad that we didn't try to tube feed her, you know, because that's another instinct that people have is, oh, she's not sucking. We need to get the tuber out. We usually get our vet involved, but we've experienced that the calf actually acts hungry or it gets lethargic because it needs to be fed. This calf was fine. She was just not showing us that she was sucking on mom the whole time.
Little stinker.
I know.
At least she's healthy though. And she's cute as can be.
She is.
She was cute in your kitchen.
She was cute in my kitchen. She actually, I felt like she looked bigger in the kitchen, especially next to Mabel, because we had my daughter's Jack Russell. And she is a super tiny Jack Russell. Was in here next to her. And she loved that. She's like, finally something my size.
The picture I think you sent me of her in the side-by-side, like curled up next, like in between you and Sean, that's where she looks tiny. Like you can really see just how itty-bitty she is.
She is. She's doing great now. Speaking of feeding, we also wanted to mention, we wanted to talk about how we're feeding for winter. Taylor and her husband owning a feed store, she's going to talk about what she does.
Well, not doing anything fancy. I'm more so like, we're haying now around the clock. So like we're getting out hay bales. We have cows locked up. We didn't get a lot of moisture, so we don't have a lot of pasture ground to keep them on now, which is okay because now they got all the windbreaks and everything that they need for wintertime. But we have all these different kind of hay feeders, right? For like round bales. And we have ditched the stupid ones that have the topper on them. Do you know, I don't know what you call them, but like where they have to like turn their head and get in. We have a couple cows that I don't know what their deal is, but they stick their heads in and then get stuck, while there's bulls, which is kind of a weird thing, you know. Normally the cow's the smarter one, but these bulls can get their heads in and out of there like it's nothing, and their horns are way worse. But I have a couple cows that it got dangerous. Last year we had a hairy situation. Jason was gone and his buddy had to come out. It was just got dark. I went up there and it was one of our newer cows who was very spooky. This whole situation could have went so south. I had no one to help me. She was very stuck and there was not enough hay in the hay feeder to really counterbalance her. And so I went and got the bobcat and I got up close enough and I was able to thankfully hold the hay feeder down with it. So I got that. I called his buddy Creighton, who is mechanic, you know, this old tow truck and all this stuff, right? So he has stuff on hand to kind of help. I called him and I was like, I don't know what you can do, but I need someone out here. I got to cut her out of this. So he brings the tow truck out to the ranch. I didn't know what I needed. And so he brought us out, I don't know, the crate tool, whatever, cutter. And he was petrified. If Creighton listens to this, he's going to say he's not, but he was. Like, this cow was like, big horns, stay away. So I got a halter on her and I held her, like pinned her down and gave him enough space where he was able to cut that. And then we're able to get this halter off of this cow who was losing her mind because it was a scary situation. It was noisy, right? Dark. She was very new to us also. But no, he cut the top off and that was my last go with using those hay feeders. I'll use them with calves, but not anymore. So we don't have enough of, we just need to go buy some, but we don't have enough of the ones that are just open. And so this year, since I have moms in, they get the good hay feeders. We kind of were experimenting. I seen some Instagram or TikTok reels, people just putting their hay bales out there to see how that would go. And so we had to be gone for our Thanksgiving. We celebrated early. Instead of having our helpers that take care of the cows while we're gone, putting them into the skid steer and rolling out a bale, we just stuck 4 bales out, took the netting off of them, and was like, survive.
Oh my God.
You got this. We'll see. And
how much waste did you have?
Honestly, though, I don't even think I've really talked to you about this. It has actually been working really good.
Really?
Like, we have been putting out every other day. We put out 3 bales. We don't have that many cows, and so that's where it kind of sits at. And they, for the most part, they clean it all up. And whatever is like left is okay because it works as a bedding also for our ground out there. And I don't know, I think it's a win either way. I don't feel like we're wasting that much hay out of it. I thought we were going to. I was really worried, but we were rolling out bales too. We were rolling out a bale a day or whatever we were needing, and that's a pain in the butt to do.
For you guys where you said it, yeah. I mean, you're talking to a gal. She just got water out there. She was hauling water for a very long time. And also no head gate. Or, well, you had a head gate.
I had a head catch, yeah. Oh, yeah. My whole calving situation, yeah. I had one. I did not have it set up and had to put it together pretty quick, but yeah.
Yeah, so these are what we wish we would have known, stories that we're sharing, because we have been in that same situation where something gets stuck. I'm fortunate that when they got stuck, my husband was around because he actually had to cut the bars. And I don't know what everybody else uses out there, and that needs to be another episode, like, or talked about. And our next guest, we might be able to do that with.
We should, yeah. Just each guest that we have on, we can ask them, what are you doing for your hay this winter? And let people hear their side. Or what are you guys feeding this winter?
Yeah. So we have, Sean actually made our bale feeders. They're actually made so they shouldn't get their head stuck. But we actually lost one getting her head stuck in the feeder. It was last year and it was devastating, and it can happen so easy. I've had young ones stick their head through the fence, like our standing panels, and get their head stuck and can't figure out how to get out either.
I have videos. I don't think Jason would be appreciative of me to share them, but he like refuses to cut those off, right? Because in that situation where we had to cut, it was like the best situation for what we were in. But like one of my favorite cows, Peaches, she is one who gets her head stuck all the time. So dumb about it. Her horns aren't even like super big either. So Jason gets in there with her and like maneuvers her, and it's scary. Like he has about been like horned and the bale is like still in the center, and like he's trying to maneuver it. It's not smart. It's dangerous part of ranching. That's why we don't use those hay feeders anymore. But I don't know. It works. It's for people that don't have hay feeders.
We have the one that this happened with is actually one that can be moved to another area if you need to. You can actually go fill it. What Sean actually did with that one, and it's working, is cut out every other bar. But it was, a longer one, not a round one.
Yeah, that would make sense to be able to do that too.
Yeah, because it is dangerous. I've watched, honestly, a couple times him and like several hired men out there from the shop trying to get cows out.
It's a dangerous thing, but as winter gets here, I mean, a lot of people don't have, pasture to go, and they're bringing cows. I don't know, I guess for most people, but bringing cows closer to home for breaking ice and making sure they got water and making sure they got the feed. So hay is like a great option. And yeah, hay feeders everyone's got different ones. Winter's here when you start seeing people post like crazy videos where like there are cows in the middle of the hay feeder and stuck and moving the hay feeder with it. Those ones are crazy. Those are different style hay feeders, but my recommendation is no top on your hay feeder.
Yeah. My daughter's like, I've never seen cows waste so much hay because she's to the Angus. And I'm like, yeah, those horns, they get their horns in there and they tear it up. It doesn't matter what kind of feeders you have. We end up with waste, but good bedding, but it's an expensive bedding.
It is. It's a hard way to look at it, but yeah.
We use cornstalk bales a lot for bedding, which is a little bit cheaper.
We have those too that we're getting a load of it. We had like straw and last year and that kind of stuff, and we put out straw bales. Yeah. I don't know. So far, so good. I saw like a crazy video. Jason and I both like passed it on to each other, and it was like they took and they just put out a ton of hay bales out in their pasture and cut them open, and they put the cows out there, and it was like a whole like multi-step thing of like, it was the cows, I don't know the right word to use for this, but they're putting stuff into the soil to help for crop next year for growing. Like it was a circle of life deal of doing it. And so that's where we kind of like first got the idea, and we're like, well, let's see.
Right? That's kind of cool.
I guess Jason's on the other side of his buddy's like, you just need to grind your hay and put in a bunk line, and you need to do that. And you got to measure out what they're getting, all that, but you have to feed them.
Yeah. So we actually do that. We feed silage and ground hay in bunks, but we also, my husband, he's like, they act like they're hungry. And I'm like, they need to eat what's in the bunks because he's turned some of them into being picky.
You got some spoiled cows.
Yeah. So they actually get bales too. But if I was to leave a bale out for mine, it doesn't matter. The bulls are worse, but the cows, they take their horns and they tear it up and have it everywhere. So I don't know. I guess we haven't tried that to find out if we would have more.
I mean, I imagine there's some waste to it, but when you like calculating, like Jason's all about calculating the weight and how much you need and all this, like through having to do it at the feed store, right?
Yep. The
calculation wise, there's not a whole lot of waste. So it works.
Right. So a little bit about winter and winter ice. Us in Nebraska, some of the states don't have to worry about this. So I think we should actually put like a Facebook post up and ask people what feeders, and have you guys share horns and hooves Facebook page what you're using for feeders, hay feeders. How are you feeding? Because I think it's interesting for everybody to know. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways. So many people from different states do things different. Like Taylor said, she's putting them out there and trying it that way. Some people unroll bales, every single day and every single night. Well, most of the time it should be just during the day. But we feed silage and ground hay and mix it, and also hay bales for hay. But I think we should put up a post, and you guys go comment on the post.
We want to know, how do you feed hay in the winter? Or what are you feeding in the winter?
Yeah, and the other thing we want to know is, what kind of water feeders do you guys use?
Yeah. Do you have something that can keep those big tanks warm? Oh, we want to know what waters you guys are using, or what works best for your area, or how you have to keep your cattle. I will say, so like our cows have our creek that runs through, and so they have that water there, my cows and my donkeys. But I still had to go break that yesterday. Like, it was frozen with a couple inches of ice. The donkeys, of course, I mean, they're like, hey, I can't do nothing about this. The cows were trying to make shift of trying to get it by the time I got there in the morning. But that was a pain in the butt. Let me tell you, I broke up so much freaking ground or water front for the cows, so they had lots of space. Donkeys were like all up in my business the whole time I was doing it for them. Like, oh, this is how it's done. Like, they seem so ditzy sometimes, I swear. But then, yeah, we don't have any tank heaters out at this moment, but using those tank heaters, I move my pins. I'm not like Lori. Lori has like her stuff set up, which is great.
It's been a process, though. We've been setting up over the last few years with our commercials, and then adding so many with the Highlands and my other minis.
I can never decide like where stuff is gonna go. Like, one winter stuff's over here in the next, and so I'm constantly like, I move tubs, like they're water tanks, and so if I need to, I have water heaters, and I'm running extension cords out and doing all that, which is a pain in the butt and costs a lot of money when you get your bill for having a heat lamp on for baby goats that weren't planned, and a whole bunch of tank heaters on. Holy freaking cow. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. That was a shocker.
I can't believe how much it cost you to do that. I need to look, because we do run a cord from our house to our water heaters out here. I don't know how we're going to do that if we're wiring them into the barn, because my husband just added 5 more waters out.
So they aren't cheap. I can tell you that. Their wattage. So I called and I was like, I think something's wrong. And they're like, well, do you have water heaters plugged in? And I was like, well, yeah, just a couple. And they're like, well, do you have heat lamps on or anything? And I was like, well, yeah, just a couple. It was like, it went from, I think it went from like $60-$70 normally is all it takes, to I think it was between $600 to $700. My hay fairy was not happy with me. He's like, I told you those goats didn't need all that heat lamp.
Yeah. So that's another, wish I would have known moment, because you're seeing those cute calves out there and you don't have a whole lot of space, and you decide you want to start breeding. Then you're calving in the wintertime. I mean, either way, we talked about calving in the summer. You have to deal with fly strike and all that stuff. But in the wintertime, I feel like we have, maybe I'm wrong, a lot more issues, I don't know, that we have to worry about, such as making sure that, and I shouldn't say calving, it really doesn't matter. It's just having
It's more
cows.
of like, it's a lot more work, right? You can't just like turn your cows out to pasture. Like, the water's running, they're good. Or they have a pond, they're good. Now you got to make sure, it's not frozen over. You got to make sure they're getting enough to eat to stay warm, right? Like, those are like big things in the winter you got to watch. That, just like Thanksgiving, saying, how was your break? Well, it's not a break. I was breaking ice. I had to put hay out. I had to put bedding out. Like, I'm checking cows for calves. Like, it's more tedious. You can't miss your time frames of getting out and checking cows in this cold weather. So, yeah. There's so much more to it.
Especially if you don't live right where your cows are. And a lot of people don't live where their cows are. They have to drive to where their cows are. They're either renting pasture, or their pasture isn't right there at their house.
So we're running out of time, guys, with this episode. We have a lot more episodes coming, some special guests coming, and we'll get to hear their opinions on how they do things this winter. And tips that they can have to give us. But if you would, we're going to share this post on our Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. Comment on it. Let's hear what you're using for your hay feeders, what you're using for your water, any tricks you have for your barn or bedding. We want to hear it. Everyone wants to hear it.
Yeah.
It's great knowledge for everyone to share around for each other.
Be sure to comment on our Horns and Hooves Facebook page. That way we can see what everybody's doing. We want to hear what you're using for feeders, how you're feeding, and what kind of water tanks are you using, and what you're using, especially in the winter, to keep them thawed. We will see you next week, same time, same place. We will have a few special guests coming up in the next couple weeks, even through Christmas. We are running episodes through the holidays, so we are so excited for what we have coming, and we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.